Hello and welcome to New Central Television. I am Lekon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. Police, military rescue kidnapped naval officer as trigger-happy police officer sends 3 persons to early graves in Cross River State. Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara makes first appearance since declaration of state of emergency in his state. Suspected Al-Shabaab militants attack Kenyan police station, kill 6 officers in Biyamado, Garissa County. The details to come your way shortly. We begin with the good news that the naval officer abducted in the Federal Capital Territory has regained freedom. Lieutenant Cynthia Akor, attached to the defense headquarters, and 2 civilians were kidnapped on March 21, 2025. When armed men attacked the Maman Vatsa Estate gate, blocked Mpape Road and opened fire on moving vehicles before abducting them. The kidnappers later contacted their families demanding 500 million naira for the naval officer and 200 million naira each for the civilians. However, the police, in collaboration with the military, rescued the kidnapped officer along with 2 civilians. FCT Police Command spokesperson SP Josephine Adeh confirmed this in a statement issued on Sunday. She said the victims were traced to a resettlement camp in Anguwan and Yelwa Hills in Nasarawa State, where they were rescued, while 4 of the suspected kidnappers were also arrested. Similarly, the Anambra State Police Command has rescued Reverend Father Stephen Echezona, abducted by gunmen at a petrol station in Ichida Anaucha local government area. The assailants, driving a white Lexus SUV, had taken the priest in his own car after abandoning their vehicle following a gunfight with security forces. In a statement on Sunday, the command spokesperson SP Tochukwu Ikenga said the victim was rescued in the early hours of March 23, 2025 by a joint security team comprising the police, the Nigerian military, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and local vigilante groups from Ichida and Hikiala. The kidnappers fled into the bush, leaving behind a stolen vehicle. Meanwhile, authorities continue to search for the criminals and the priest's car. Still on policing concerns, Police Inspector Effiong Basi, suspected to have gone berserk, has shot 3 persons in Calabar, the Cross River State capital. The Cross River State Police Command confirmed the incident in a statement on Sunday. According to the command spokesperson, Udo Irene, the incident happened in the early hours of Sunday at the Divisional Police Headquarters in Atakpa, Calabar. He said Basi returned from his night duty at a microfinance bank and began to exhibit abnormal behavior. He further stated that Inspector Basi refused to hand over the AK-47 rifle it was assigned and instead proceeded to block the station's gate, preventing anyone from entering or leaving the premises. Despite attempts at peaceful dialogue to resolve the situation, the officer's actions escalated. The statement also expressed heartfelt condolences to the family of the deceased and wished a speedy recovery to those injured. Still on security matters, bandits ambushed a group of Zamfara State Community Protection Guards known as Askarawa and local vigilantes in Ankara local government area, killing 6 guards and 4 vigilantes. The operatives had just returned from a successful operation led by the Nigerian Army, which resulted in the death of several bandits. As they headed back, they were ambushed near Bagega, leading to the devastating loss of 10 lives. Governor Dauda Lawal confirmed the incident, noting that 3 others remain missing, including 2 CPG members and 1 vigilante. Authorities are investigating and efforts are underway to locate the missing individuals. Now, for more on security concerns, I'm being joined by Chief Everest Ozonwike. He is a regional coordinator of Apex Igbo Group, Ohanese Ndido. And we'll be looking at the cost implications of insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in the southeast region. Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Leko.
It's nice to have you around.
Yeah.
First, let's start by looking at the insecurity situation in Nigeria. How do you feel seeing that killings, kidnappings, and other atrocities seem to be on the rampage in the country?
Well, it's quite unfortunate situation that we found ourselves. The insecurity in Nigeria can be better described as a catastrophe, because there's nothing you can do when you don't have security in a nation. When you're making an effort to bring in foreign investments, the first thing they will do is look at your security desk. And what do we have? That the first 5 minutes of your news items says have been insecurity in Cross River, insecurity, killings, Anambra, and what have you. So it's quite telling to the Nigerian state. But at the same time, it calls for everybody's concern. Security issue is not just left in the hands of government, but government must show leadership by taking practical measures in tackling insecurity. I just came back from the southeast, from Anambra State. I was in Enugu State. Last week I was at Ebonyi and Aba itself. And the situation there is not exactly what it seems to be last year. There has been so much improvement in terms of security. Enugu State has command and control centers where before, we have breaches of crimes. Such people will be easily apprehended like what we had before. The problem we have in Enugu State now has to do with the headers, the cattle headers and the farmers. Now, coming down to Anambra State. Anambra State, you can see what happens at Shishida. And the speed in which the non-state actors were apprehended. Since the launching of Operation Udo Gashi by the governor of Anambra State, 18th of January, there have been a change. And that has to tell us that as far as the governor have the will to make sure that he tackles insecurity in the state, everything falls in place. Trade activities is improving in Anambra State.
Okay.
A lot of people are building confidence, communal confidence, because Anambra State security architecture involves the army, the police, the traditional rulers, the town union presidents. Everybody is involved this time around.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that you mentioned the contributions of stakeholders within the community, but then we still get speculations that regional and community leaders aid and abet criminal elements, most especially in the southeastern parts of the country. I'd like you to shed more light on that and how that can be tackled.
It's a common thing that when insurgency goes beyond some kind of 2-3 months or a year, some people must have been compromised. But I'm not bringing that down to what is happening in Southeast. The security, first of all, the Southeast region have been presumed to be a different region outside Nigeria by those in authorities of this country. We all hear when a sitting president said that he's giving 5% to those, who gave 5% to him in terms of dividends of democracy. We all hear when it was said that we are like a dot in the cycle. We're all here where it was said that we'll be talking to on the language that we will understand. We have seen Python dance, we have been seeing Operator Crocodile dance, the same one reason. You are driving down to Southeast from Lagos, for instance. From hence, you dive out from Lagos Ibadan Express to Shagamu. The level of roadblocks you will see until you get to a village in the east. Drive down to Abuja. You'll be wondering, do we have the same laws?
So you're saying that there's a lot of imbalance in the militarization of the axis.
The Southeast have been so militarized. But at the same time, in spite of all these blocks and militarizations, the insecurity is still there. Last 2 years, last year, Anambra State, I went to Ajali, for instance. Last 2 days I was in Ajali. But it were to be last year, if I tell somebody I'm going to Ajali, will say, boy, how many armored vehicles are you moving with? But it wasn't like that this way, of recent now. So the level of insecurity in Anambra State has come down drastically because of the action of the governor of Anambra State.
Okay, so some people say that if Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB leader, is released, it will improve security in the eastern part of the country and also foster unity. Do you support or advocate for his release?
I advocate for his release. In several occasions I've said it, because non-state actors have already hijacked the process that the IPOBs are brought in place. They are no more there. But to have non-state actors coming in the name of Nnamdi Kanu, perpetrating all kinds of evils and insecurity in Southeast. So, by now, the government should have mustered political solution to free Nnamdi Kanu. At least we'll make sure that those who are creating chaos because of his incarceration wouldn't have anything to say again because he is free. So that the government of the southeastern regions will focus on the proper criminals. So I advocate that the federal government should find a muster political solution to free Nnamdi Kanu. It will go a long way in bringing down the security challenges we're having in the southeast.
Okay, so just to wrap things up, Chief Everest, let's quickly look at local supports, probably from local vigilantes, the ESN, and some other local security operators. Would you say that there's a lot of synergy among these security personnel or bodies to actually help in improving the security state?
If we don't have a synergy, we wouldn't have the result we have from what happened at Ishida. There is synergy, there is intelligent gatherings that within the locals. What I'm afraid of now is the level of collaboration between states to avoid border crimes. Because when you are dislodging them from Anambra State, chances are they'll be looking out towards the neighboring states. You understand? So there is a need for proper collaborations to make sure that those in charge to, if you have influx of non-state actors into their state, they have to pin them out. So there is heightened collaborations between stakeholders.
All right, thank you so much, Chief Everest Ozonweke, for coming to our studios to talk to us about this. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Let's move on now. Still on security anyway in Nigeria. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun has issued a stern warning to officers against illegal detention, emphasizing that there will be serious consequences for such actions. In a statement released by the full spokesman Muyiwa Adejobi, the IGP referenced sections 34 and 35 of the Nigerian Constitution, which safeguard personal liberty and dignity. He cautioned that unlawful or prolonged detentions could erode public trust in the police, and officers found guilty would face strict penalties. Egbetokun called for accountability within the force and urged officers to uphold the highest standards of conduct. The police leadership reaffirmed its commitment to human rights and building stronger community relations through integrity and respect for the law. Away from that now, residents of Asaba have continued to voice concerns about the security situation in the Delta State capital. In the face of their concerns, security agencies say no stone will be left unturned to keep the state capital and its environs secure. In this special report, News Central correspondent Austin Azu examines the security concerns in Asaba, neighboring communities, and how those concerns are being addressed.
Asaba, the capital of Delta State in south-south Nigeria, serves as a gateway into the southeastern region of Nigeria, sharing a boundary with Onitsha. the economic nerve center of Anambra State. Many residents of Asaba believe that there has been an influx of questionable individuals into Asaba due to the security challenges confronting the southeast. They believe this influx is fueling the insecurity issues in Asaba and its environs.
The challenge of security with Asaba too much. It passed too much.
When it gets to this particular hours of 7:30 to 9 o'clock in the night, we still see some of all these boys use keke to snatch phones.
At Ibuzo, by the bypass, they are always kidnapping indigenous and non-indigenous residents of Ibuzo. So it's appalling that these things are going on in the state, and it's like we don't really have security agencies that are operational.
Against this backdrop, the Delta State government launched the Know Your Tenants and Neighbors initiative as part of measures to guarantee security of lives and properties in the Capital Territory.
Not too long ago, somebody who had been terrorizing Owerri was living very comfortably in an area in this Capital Territory. So there's need for us to know our neighbors. You don't need to let the neighbor know that you have passed an information to us. We need to know those who are living your neighbor.
In the same vein, the Oshimili South Local Government Area Chairman, Kelvin Ezenyele, equally inaugurated a security task force with the mandate to restore sanity and orderliness in Asaba.
Their duty and objective is to be able to identify or retain or reclaim those that are trying to drive insecurity in the local government and then hand them over to the respective authorities.
The State Police Command has assured that they are working in conjunction with other sister security agencies to minimize crimes and criminalities to the lowest level in Asaba and across the state.
I can tell you for a fact that Delta State happens to be one of the safest states around the country. Today, we have men strategically deployed in Asaba alone, we have over 14 pin down points. If you come out, you see that we have policemen strategically positioned to ensure that crime is nipped at the bud even before it happens. We use that to prevent crime. It's our own proactive way of doing the police job here in Asaba, and that is why it has indeed been paying off. Because you see that we have recovered numerous weapons, arrested suspects, we have gotten justice, we've been able to secure conviction, and a host of other achievements. Asaba is generally peaceful. And if any of them feels that there is anything that is happening around them that we are not aware of, why not simply walk up to the nearest police station and report?
As security agencies strive to create a safer, more secure environment for Asaba residents and indeed the entire Delta State, it is expected that actionable intelligence will also be provided to enhance the security confidence of Asaba residents and neighboring communities. In Asaba for News Central, Austin Azu.
Let's talk about Nigeria's oil assets. Reports confirm that there has been an explosion on the right-of-way of one of the pipelines of the Soku oil facility in Akukutoro local government area of Rivers State, said to be operated by the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited. According to the locals in the area, an explosion accompanied by fireballs was heard and seen in the sky from the facility area, which is hard to reach, and the fire may still be burning as at the time of this report. While the cause of the explosion is not yet known, the leadership of Soku Kingdom, through its General Secretary, Witness Alasia, in a statement affirmed that the Soku gas plant was not impacted and is still operational. It will be recalled that this is the third incident on oil facilities in Rivers State in less than a week, with the first occurring in the Ogoni area and the second at the Oga Idama and Dono local government area, as also cited by President Bola Tinubu in his nationwide broadcast on March 18, while declaring a 6-month state of emergency on Rivers State and suspending the State House Assembly members, the Deputy Governor and Governor Siminalaye Fubara. News Central is monitoring developments and will definitely give you updates as they emerge. Anyways, earlier, Opwende Isaiah joined us for conversations around the recent security breaches in Rivers State, and here is what he had to say.
Very, very necessary because it's a destruction of the facilities around my constituency. And if I don't speak on it, it's like I'm encouraging people who have been instigated by unnecessary sentiment to continue to vandalize facilities of the federal government. You know, I got the news as early as possible, and I was not surprised that it will happen because the instigation has been in the air, and a lot of persons called me and were asking me what is happening within your terrain. And the thing is this: if somebody who has failed to respect the Constitution, who has failed to respect judgment from a competent court of jurisdiction from the lower to the highest level, will now instigate people to go and destroy oil facilities because he feels the assembly wants to impeach him. This is the same thing that is going on that led to emergency rule in Rivers State. And those persons have not been warned, have not been spoken to say, please shield your sword. And that's why they keep going on to destroy oil facilities in Rivers State. Honestly, I am not happy that this thing is happening. Nobody has the monopoly of violence to do so.
Let's now go on a short break on the news. When we return, we'll talk about Natasha, that is Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's recall and what the reactions have been. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, communities in Borno State are grappling with a deepening water crisis as soaring costs and scarcity of clean water continue to hit hard on residents. The price of water has skyrocketed due to limited access to fresh water sources, exacerbated by a recent flood and years of conflict. News Central's Maman Vatsa assesses the situation and now reports.
A daily struggle in search of water for these individuals in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital of Nigeria's northeast.
Ruwan nan yanzu haka an ce ya san lokacin nari naira 200 sa muke sayar ruwa. Wani waje ma in ya gagara to aka dan mana sauki tukun muna sayan naira 170 so da 50 so.
Bidande kamar krale za har loktu krai sai akojin kala anderin ji sautu sai rawala kariya mane dene ne. Kran har loktu krai sai akojin.
Tun karfe 7 muke zama nan. Ba ma samun ruwa sai 11 ko zuwa 12.
At Shehuri South in Maiduguri, a trip of 14 gallons of water cost 1,000 naira, 800 naira at GRA, 700 naira at Blunkutu, among other disparity in the cost of the commodity across the metropolis.
Kawukuru ambaliya da isnalan andero banna sirga kuma mara uniform duri ba duri montro le zaimbaw kurungawa adelan njide modaka de fande baw bofol de fande baw
ande banasa awshima de kuru andero sola de andero banasir kuru kwaye bohol sola so ndien ande banasa ngoro ndela na sandana beji.
Some of the major streets, particularly during the morning and evening hours, witness large number of children struggling to fetch water.
Duri sanana dunan zaba jerka miyauri so mena wala so ta niski ara solade ai maso wanda imba njiri zo ala hidro gumnati ra kuno moda naskul magartun goro so tutanari ro.
A safe haven to most families here at London Chiki Alingoshe. Unfortunately, the solar batteries and panels are also faulty, causing serious problem for the people to access water.
Gana kamsa da bana tindo masalan be na da ma final lan zai la daga na shidan ce zuna wala wa warzana ira wani lokaci yana zuwa lokaci ba zuwa ba to yanzu ba mu daga can Anguwan mu dole muka tafi nan can ya yanke ne muka tafi nan muna neman ruwa muka Anguwan mu.
For rural communities in both southern and northern parts of the state, the situation is even critical.
Chibok muna da matsalar ruwa sosai yanzu mu da kanmu haka da muka zo tun da ziyara suna gida ma bamu samu ruwa ko abinci bamu iya mun yi ba.
Effort to speak to the Borno State Ministry of Water Resources proved abortive. However, 11 billion 629 million was allocated to the ministry for both capital and recurrent expenditures. The governor recently spoke on the intention to address the problem.
The assessment is ongoing also. But I want to assure the general public that we shan't speed up the process of the assessment.
While reconstruction and upgrade of Alo Dam has since begun, experts warn that without immediate action, the situation will worsen, threatening the lives and livelihoods of thousands of people. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Now, tourism in Abia State has been in comatose over the years, receiving minimal attention from the government. With more than 40 heritage sites in the state, this aspect of tourism adds little or nothing to the state's gross domestic product. Recently, the federal government indicated interest in upgrading 3 of these sites in the state. News Central's Chinwe Ogele tells us more in this report.
Of Abia State are sites that bear stories of the people, their culture, and past events. Some are uniquely designed, naturally adorning the landscape of the hinterland, from the Azumini Blue River in Abia South Senatorial Zone to Long Juju of Arochuku in Abia North Senatorial Zone, enjoying no maintenance by the government of the day. It is also for this reason that individuals and communities take over government's responsibility and impose fees on tourists who visit the site before they are allowed to have access to take photos.
At the moment, we've actually been able to single out 3 of them that the state government is going to retrofit. But they are so much, about 55, and most of them are viable.
The Amakama tree cave, which has now become a mere wood, is an example of how lack of maintenance can lead to the destruction of such heritage sites. The tree, located in Isianyi in Amakama community, Umuahia South local government area, was said to have lasted for over 200 years, providing shelter to up to 20 elderly people in times of war.
So after now, we will move into the market to inform some developers to see what we can do.
However, in Ujali, Arochukwu, the popular Ulonta Okure, where slaves to be sold to foreigners were kept temporarily, is still being maintained and managed by the Okure Oji family. Although the house was declared a national monument in 1972 by the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, the federal government is yet to accord it the desired attention. The proposed partnership between the Abia State government and the federal government is to focus on War Museum, Ojuku Banka, and the Long Juju of Arochukwu.
Unfortunately, it's quite dilapidated, and it's quite important that urgent intervention happens so that we don't lose a lot of the history and storytelling and the importance of the building. And also the Ojuku Bunker is very relevant, obviously, with the story of Biafra.
The museums are historical structures and sites that tell the story of the Nigerian Biafran Civil War but have received inadequate attention.
Men looking at it needs more people to be employed here and the government to do the needful, because the place is not well developed.
It's functioning, but it's not functioning the way it's supposed to, the way it ought to. We need more modernized tourism centers in Abia State.
If you visited the War Museum, let's say 2-3 years ago, you know that there's no motivation going around there. The contributions of the state government has not been, they've not been intentional. But now, with a partnership with the federal government towards reviving, especially the National War Museum and the Ojuku Banka, is going to yield a lot of results.
These heritage sites and more that have been identified by the state government can become a huge revenue generator if they are developed to standard to attract visitors to the state.
Now we tell you that Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State has made his first public appearance since the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers by President Bola Tinubu. New Central crew was at the Salvation Ministries Church in Port Harcourt, where the governor attended Sunday service and filed. And we have details of this in this report.
Since President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency in the state on March 18, 2025. Governor Fubara was spotted leaving the Salvation Ministries Church in Port Harcourt, the state capital, after attending Sunday service. Despite his public appearance, Governor Fubara refused to comment on the ongoing issues in the state.
Your Excellency, sir, a quick one, sir. A quick one, sir.
Please.
Sir.
Earlier on, all this place were actually filled up with protocol officers of the governor, as we have them spread over. He still has the security operatives for those who were of the opinion that they don't know if he still has the security details as the governor of the state, though under suspension.
Worshippers also confirmed that he didn't speak during the service. However, his appearance has elevated concerns surrounding his safety since the declaration of the state of emergency.
Anybody God have blessed, nobody can curse it. No matter how what government have said, government have tried to, should I say manipulation or whatever, understand, if I'm mistaken. But if the will of God is something that the will of God will be done, must be definitely to be done.
I pray that God should take control of everything and make peace to reign and return him back to office, hopefully.
The governor's supporters also expressed their feelings and hope for the future due to his appearance.
As long as he came to church, like he is in church today, every other thing that is being held against him is being cleared. Like he's free, he's safe, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Every other thing, every other allegation.
Settled. Every other thing is settled.
If you don't, please, who settled it?
God have settled it automatically.
President Tinubu on Tuesday, 18th March 2025, suspended Governor Fubara, his deputy, and all state legislators due to lingering political crisis in the state. New Central continues to follow happenings in the state as events unfold.
In Port Harcourt, Rivers State, for News Central, Igbalani Omoni.
Away from that, a federal high court sitting in Lokoja, Kogi State capital has set aside an earlier ruling that restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from receiving the recall process initiated by a constituent of Kogi Central Senatorial District against Senator Natasha Akpotudwanga. The Federal High Court, in a landmark judgment delivered in Lokoja on Friday, affirms that the recall process is constitutionally valid and aligns with the civic rights of the constituents. The court urged the constituents to continue exercising their rights in an orderly and peaceful manner. The development was after the court on Thursday granted an interim injunction restraining INEC, its staff, agents, privies and others from receiving, accepting or acting on any petition containing signatures of members of Kogi Central Senatorial District. The injunction, however, restrains INEC, its staff and agents from receiving or accepting recall petitions with fake signatures and conducting any referendum based on such petitions. The case has been adjourned to May 6, 2025 for further mentioning. Meanwhile, some residents of Kogi State under the aegis of Kogi Central People's Alliance, KOSEPA, have called on the members of the public to ignore false reports making the rounds about constituents of Kogi Central seeking to recall Senator Natasha Akpotudwanga from the Senate. New Central Special Correspondent on Investigative Journalism, Marshall Onoye, reports that coordinator of the group, Comrade Abdulrazak Baba, while addressing the media conference on Sunday, stressed the need for effective and accurate news reporting by media organizations in order to avoid misleading the public from the true happenings within the constituency and the state at large.
Remains that there are several groups that have clamoring for the recall of Natasha. That being said, in the last 2-3 days of our being here, we've seen these groups and their numbers come out to criticize the situation at the National Assembly. We've also had people who had also come out. Just yesterday we spoke with Honorable Abdurrahman Badamasri, who was a former member of the House of Representatives and a PDP stalwart who had equally spoken in favor of Natasha, and we trailed the events back home here in our homestead in Ehima, where we currently are. Today we met a mammoth crowd here, and when we inquired what was going on, we found out that Natasha was carrying out an empowerment exercise, which they said also was a regular activity in her homestead here. Earlier on, I also spoke with Sophia, Honorable Sophia Jimo. I'd just like to bring her in so you can hear from her directly. Sophia, earlier on we were talking, and you did say, when I asked you about the recall, the call for her recall from the the Senate, you criticized that and said it was fraudulent, just as Honorable Abdurrahman had said yesterday. I'd like to hear what you make of the allegations she has also raised on sexual harassment.
I'm a woman. I know the pain of a woman. And I believe that the senator is not telling lies because I'm a public office holder. We do have this experience. It is a daily activities. Women do go sexual harassment. So I won't say she's telling lies. And she says she has the evidence. If they know that there is nothing of such, let her come. Let the ethics committee investigate the issue.
In her tradition, for over 10 years, he has been doing this before even venturing into politics or becoming a senator. It is an annual event or seasonal event. Christmas, Easter, Ramadan, Salah, and every festival, she gives food items appropriately.
Coming up on the news. Al-Shabaab attack on a police station in Kenya killed 6. We will tell you more when we return. Join us again. In Burkina Faso, 4 political activists from the movement, Severe and Non-So-Severe, called SENS, were abducted on Saturday, March 22. The activists are part of the National Coordination Committee, include 2 mothers with families. The kidnapping follows the abduction of journalist Idrissa Bari earlier in the week. SENS has been vocal in denouncing civilian massacres allegedly committed by the army and allied militias, highlighting disturbing social media videos showing bound bodies, many of them women and children. The Burkinabe government has denied these accusations. The ongoing violence fueled by jihadist groups and political instability has claimed over 26,000 lives in recent years, with critics accusing authorities of silencing dissent through abductions and torture. Now, 6 Kenyan police officers have been killed by suspected Al-Shabaab militants in an attack on a police reservist camp in Biyamado, Garissa County on Sunday. The militants used various weapons to overrun the camp early in the morning, resulting in fatalities. Additionally, 4 others were injured and taken to the hospital. Al-Shabaab, an Islamist militant group with a long history of fighting the Somali government, has increasingly targeted Kenyan forces, particularly due to Kenya's military involvement in Somalia. The group is active in areas such as the Boni Forest, which lies along the Kenya-Somalia border, and has carried out several attacks within Kenya. Talking business now, Nigerian brands are tapping into market trends and consumer psychology, positioning themselves as luxury labels with premium pricing. But are they delivering on quality? Do high price tags reflect superior products, or is it all about smart branding? From fashion to tech, these reports gathers opinions of everyday shoppers and industry experts, revealing whether Nigerians feel they are getting true value for their money or just paying for the label. Business correspondent Chamun Dabeng hits the streets to uncover what Nigerians really think.
That isn't living under a rock, that is, has probably heard the word luxury being thrown about without a care. It's either lux by this or come down here and enjoy the best of luxuries. But at the end of the day, it's just a word, no? So today we're going to be asking Nigerians if they really feel the Nigerian brands that call themselves luxury-based brands are really giving luxury, or are they giving no please?
Often when one thinks of luxury, we think expensive, quality and exclusivity. However, is that the same definition Nigerians have of the word?
I think I got good experience from them. Some even, add it up with giving you kind of packages like gifts, items to back it up to show their quality, their, expensive in nature.
They are quite okay, but I won't say they are luxury. But when you are seeing, once you are seeing like maybe they are doing like an advert in Nigeria, anything that they just on light on, they say this thing is luxury.
You are in love with something and you saved money to get that particular thing, and at the end of the day you are not even getting the value of what you have, what you got in the first place. So I think they are not doing enough for us.
The reactions coming from Nigerians, though mixed, all share the same sentiment towards the definition, and the recurring word was value and quality. Spa owner Lydia Williams believes her business is a luxury brand and speaks on what it takes to truly be one.
It's not something every other person out there can afford on a daily basis. It's aimed at giving a certain amount of relaxation or certain amount of service that gives a different kind of feeling and connection to the human being that can afford it.
While hair brand owner Damilola Victor Dare believes that entrepreneurs must learn to strike a balance between profit and customer satisfaction.
Not just about making money, because a lot of business owners now, they are all about the profit, how they are going to make money. But you have to balance it out.
Business developer John Bosco Ezenwa says the incessant need for non-luxury brands to be identified as one is based on market trends and the Nigerian mentality that expensive must mean better.
So because they don't offer that luxury means that you have your own special clientele, you have a portion of the market you're targeting, and that is exclusive, and also it gives prestige to the people who are using Now, because they are not doing this, or these companies who claim to be are not offering the services, at the end of the day, they don't last. They move on to other things. They begin to branch into other part of the value chain that offer that luxury, using the kind of clientele that they have met.
Your brand means everything to your business. However, luxury is more than just a branding scheme. It has to be an experience that can't be gotten from any random place. So if you must brand yourself as a luxury business, make sure you're giving your customers actual luxury. Luxuriously reporting for News Central Lagos, I am Chamun Dabeng.
We now bring you sports news.
And in sports, Ethiopia's Gudaf Tegay defended a 1,500-meter title at the World Athletics Indoor Championships Nigeria 25, setting a new championship record of 3 minutes 54.86 seconds. Tegay now holds 2 World Indoor 1,500-meter titles, both secured with record-breaking performances. Her latest time ranks as the 4th fastest indoor women's 1,500-meter in history, trailing only her own record of 3 minutes 53.09. She remains the dominant force in the event, owning the 4 fastest times ever recorded indoors. Ethiopia secured the 1-2 finish as Diribe Welteji claimed silver in 3 minutes 59.30 seconds. Great Britain's Georgia Hunter Bell won bronze with a personal best of 3 minutes 59.84, while Australia's Georgia Griffith finished 4th, setting an Oceanian indoor record of 4 minutes 8 seconds. Tegay's victory further cements her legacy in middle distance running. And out of football, Nigeria National League side Warriors became the first team to reach the 2025 President Federation Cup round of 16 after opponents Shooting Stars were disqualified for fielding ineligible players. The Nigerian Football Federation confirmed the development in the official round of 32 pairings released on the 23rd of March. Shooting Stars' previous opponents, Zamfara United, were also thrown out for failing to honor their round of 64 fixture. The round of 32 promises thrilling encounters with 3 top-tier clashes set, including an Oriental derby between Heartland and Rangers. El Academy Warriors face Eyimba and Plateau United battling Sunshine Stars. All round of 32 matches will be played on the 2nd of April, while the women's knockout stage follows on the 5th of April. Still talking football, Stevie Mayo's dramatic stoppage time goal sealed a 1-0 victory for Rivers United over Ikorodu City in Port Harcourt on Sunday, cutting Remo Stars' lead at the top to 5 points. Abia Warriors climbed to 3rd with a crucial 1-0 away win over Heartland in Owerri, courtesy of Adejo Ojonogwa's 81st minute strike. Eyimba were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayelsa United in Aba, with Ekene Awazie scoring early before Ogba Ifeanyi equalized a minute later. Akwa United boosted their survival hopes with a vital 2-0 victory over Kwara United with goals from Oshoba Kabir and Uche Sebastian, while Katsina United trashed El Academy Warriors 3-0 at home. In Ibadan, Shooting Stars boosted their hopes for a top 3 finish, defeating Niger Tornadoes 3-1 at home to go 4th. With the league approaching its final stages, the battle for the title Continental Sports intensified across the table. And now to international football, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scored twice to lead Gabon to a 2-1 victory over Kenya in the 2026 World Cup qualifier on Sunday. The 35-year-old striker who plays in Saudi Pro League struck in the 16th minute and 52nd minute before Michael Olunga pulled one back for Kenya. The win takes Gabon to 15 points in Group F ahead of reigning African champions Ivory Coast with 13. With 4 matches left, Kenya is virtually out of contention. Gabon and Ivory Coast appear set to battle for the top spot with their decisive clash scheduled for September 2025. And to wrap up sports updates, as momentum builds for the Niger Delta Sports Festival, the Symbolic Unity Torch continues its journey across the region and is set to arrive in Benin City on Monday, March 25th. The torch, which represents peace and sportsmanship among the 9 participating states, is a key highlight ahead of the festival's official kickoff on the 1st of April. Honorable Amadine Desmond Enabulele, Executive Chairman of the Edo State Sports Commission, will receive the torch on behalf of the state government at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. Athletes, coaches, and commission staff will assemble at 8 a.m. to welcome the torch bearers. The torch was lit in Yelwa on March 21st and will be handed over to Governor Monday Okpewolo at the Government House. The festival will host 3,000 athletes and 500 coaches in Uyo, Akwa Ibom from April 1st to the 8th of April. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. I'm Favor Itwa.
That's all at this hour, but then let's look at our major stories before we go. Police military rescue kidnapped naval officer. As trigger-happy police officer sends 3 persons to early graves in Cross River. Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara makes first appearance since declaration of state of emergency in the state. We also told you that suspected Al-Shabaab militants attack Kenyan police station, killed 6 officers in Buya Modo, Garissa County. Do send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen, and you can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can also watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Arvo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.